Why is it so hard to follow Jesus? This Christian walk, bro. I mean, you pray, you obey, and when the Bible describes suffering, the answer is to walk by faith and not by sight. You trust God, you believe, and life still hurts. How, Sway? But listen, when Paul wrote, "For we walk by faith and not by sight," he didn't mean that we do it from a comfortable place. And not just when everything is working out are we to have faith. Because just one chapter earlier, he's writing in 2 Corinthians 4 that we are afflicted in every way, but not crushed. We're perplexed, but we're not in despair. We are persecuted, but not abandoned, and we're struck down, but not destroyed. Paul's not pretending that suffering doesn't exist. He's showing us where faith meets suffering. Because when we're afflicted, faith is going to remind us that we won't be crushed. When we're perplexed, it's the faith we have in God to keep us from despair, because we know God's not going to stop being faithful. And when we're persecuted, we have faith that God has never left us, nor will he ever forsake us. When we're struck down, faith reminds us that we're not destroyed because Christ has overcome the world and we are in him. Little ones. Then Paul tells us why. He says in verse 18 of 2 Corinthians 4 that we don't focus on what is seen, but on what is unseen, because what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. Think about what Jesus said. He compared suffering to a woman being in labor. Most women have these very real contractions that are very painful, and no one's telling her to pretend that it doesn't hurt. But she keeps pushing because she knows something beautiful is being produced on the other side of the pain. And that's exactly what the Bible tells us. Faith does not deny the pain, and faith doesn't change the fact that you're suffering. But faith changes what your suffering means. So it should remind you that God is producing something through the pain. Maybe today your marriage still hurts. Maybe the doctor's report hasn't quite changed, or maybe you're grieving someone you love. Maybe you're wondering why following Jesus feels so hard. It was so much easier when you were in the world, right? The Bible would never tell you that your pain isn't real, but your Bible teaches us that pain cannot become the whole story, because what God is doing in you might be invisible today, but it is no less real. And that's why we walk by faith, not by sight. Walking by faith means living according to God's invisible realities instead of your visible situations. In the next video, we'll talk about how knowing the attributes of God is the ultimate tool to walking by faith and not by sight. God bless you, and I love you.